Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Laitonjam University. The guest of honors, may I take present here online with us. May I request Professor Sanjeev Kumar, former Director, Center for the Study of Developing Societies, New Delhi. May I invite Professor Singh, Dean. Now I request Research Scholar, Manipur University, to deliver the welcome speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very hearty morning to everyone joining us today. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all. I'm excited to see so many familiar faces and thrilled to see new one joining us for the first time. As you all know, this is a 3-day hybrid lesson conference on conflict and unrest in Northeast India, emerging challenges, with an objective to understand geopolitical sensitivities and pattern of conflict in India. It is truly a really momentous occasion to see Professor Sanjeev Kumar, political analyst, former director, Center for Study of Developing Society, New Delhi, whose contribution to academics. Thank you all for making time in your schedule to attend this conference. This conference is officially open over the next few.
Opportunity, I invite all the dignitaries to release the compendium. Thank you, sir. May I invite Dr. Laitonjam Muhindro, Convenor, Organizing Committee, to give the introductory note.
At the very outset, good morning, all the members on the dais, and all the participants from different colleges, different institutions all over the world, as well as abroad. First of all, respected Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Manipur University, Professor W. Chan Babu Singh, this theme in conflict and unrest in northeastern regions, emerging challenges. It's a very timely organized under the sponsorship of the PM USHA scheme, formerly known as USHA. The Directorate of University and Higher Education, Government of Manipur, provided some fundings to organize such important themes, especially to cover all the emerging issues to discuss within the scholars, within the professors who are interested, religious persons, to find out a progressive and manageable solutions. However, all of us know that the Northeast India is a very much full of the conflict situation. Whether it may be in many terms, whether it may be significantly, many issues are there. So we have to cover all these issues in different technical sessions, in disciplinary speakers are also ready to speak in different perspectives. And the keynote speakers who are professors from Madrid University, Spain, will shortly speak his keynote speech, and some scholars from Pakistan and other different countries are also participated to share their views regarding the conflict of these studies.
Hello. Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here today with you addressing your speech on disinformation and expected values. It is India National Conference, and I will share a presentation. Just a minute. During the presentation ceremony, the President Trump focused on the establishment of the creators and regulators of disinformation and fake news. Fake news and disinformation connected are linked to philosophical concepts such as truth, knowledge, and ignorance. And it's very good to connect philosophy and epistemology with journalism, ethics, and politics. We need to say that we are in a crisis, and this crisis is explained by the affective or emotional turn, the technological or digital turn, and the linguistic or pragmatic turn. Okay, in order to clarify the panorama, we need to distinguish between misinformation. This is misinformation characterized as false information.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I invite for a speech from Professor Sanjeev Kumar.
On a very important topic, and why do I say that this topic is important? We all know that what is the topic of the seminar. The topic of the seminar is conflict and unrest in Northeast India, emerging challenges. Why this topic is important? Because when we are talking about conflict in Northeast states and emerging challenges, we are not talking about the state where we are at the moment, Manipur. We are not talking about Nagaland. We are not talking especially about one state. This is a theme which cuts across all the states of the region, all the 6-7 states of the region. Many more who are not physically present but will be present joining online. We all would be discussing these issues, the challenges together, possible solutions. Some of us may come up with some possible solutions. I'm not sure if everybody may be able to offer possible solutions, but I think this is a way to accomplish that. What have know why and how conflict is arises. And every state and every country has, they are facing the problem and issues of conflict nowadays. So we have been facing a lot of conflict, ethnic conflict, and other Indian normalcy in the states. There may be some way or some other source or other. Since 1965 onwards, Meitei rebels, 1965 onwards, Meitei rebels.
May I also invite for a speech from Dr. A. Joy Singh.
Constraint. Most of the word that I would like to say is referred by previous speakers, but I will give some supplementary ideas. As you know, Northeast India occupies the unique and significant place in socio-political, their own standards and conventions. If we have 36 communities
in the state of Manipur only, then if you count for the whole northeastern region of India, almost around 200 different communities are living in the northeastern region of India. So if you look at it from that perspective, the amount of diversity that might exist in the northeastern region of India itself is a matter of great research and study. I can look here. When we have a large number of ethnic communities or otherwise ethnic diversities, then there will be competing situations among the communities in terms of occupying the resources, in terms of dominating and occupying the land, in terms of exercising their own political rights and power. All these things are unrest to all of us. So the whole study of these perspectives and this discussion would definitely emerge in this 3-day hybrid international conference.
Carlos University, Madrid, Spain. Professor Sanjeev Kumar, former director, Center for the Study of Developing Society, New Delhi. Professor Singh, Dean, School of Social Sciences, Laitonjam University, and Dr. W. Ravindra Singh, OSD Director of University and Higher Education, Convenor Manipur. Dr. Joy Singh, Coordinator IPSA, SK Women College, and organize all the respected scholars, delegates, and all the participants and
engagement have made this event meaningful. A special note of appreciation to the organizing committee, Department of Human Rights and Research Development Cell, Kula, coordinators, discussions, volunteers, administrative staffs, and the technical team, media person. I now request J. Jyoti Sapam to take over the proceedings. Here I conclude my vote of thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Now we will have a short tea break and then we will continue with the plenary session. May I request all the invitees to kindly come inside the hall so that we can start with the plenary session. All the invitees are requested. Muhindro, Department of Anthropology, Manipur University.
Professor Sasilan Pandey, Professor Zogiras Mathak,
Land and territorial disputes, under which we talk about inter-state border tension between different states and bordering states. This was referred This was referred by the Vice-Chancellor in the morning. There are conflict over land ownership and district demand. Migration and citizenship concerns. There are other key issues are about governance and trust deficit, public dissatisfaction with poor policy implementation. And I must again say, this you would find even in other regions of this country. Public dissatisfaction with poor policy implementation. Shared perception among the people about delayed and biased state response. And when I am referring to shared people's response, why I am writing this because we keep doing a lot of surveys across the country and talking to common people, and we do have a very good sense of that. This is the feeling among the people. Development and resource competition, uneven development across regions, culture and the way of life people living in Assam. And this is a question which we asked. This is a survey in 2021, not very recent, but it's not that every month you can do or every year you can do surveys. Face-to-face surveys are very expensive, time-taking. So this is a survey 4 or 5 years.
So the level, the degree of movement is much serious this time. This is something which we need to know. And here you see, just after the coup, you find that the whole of the society started a movement called what you said civil disobedience movement. And here we are talking about national unity government. This is the exile government, and this exile government has an armed wing of its own, which is called People's Defense Force. And the interesting thing is the whole movement is being now supported by some 25 ethnic armed organizations. Okay, and the most prominent being this Three Brotherhood Alliance, Arakan Army, then Myanmar National Defense, the Democratic Alliance Army, then there is Tang National Liberation Army, and this is being supported by the Kachin, Karen and Karenni. Okay, so the thing is that government, you see the next here, I'll take. So if someone asks that is there any room for political negotiation, the degree is very low at the present, because the problem is what is a structural problem, structural challenge. There is a civil military imbalance that is been going on in the country from the time of independence, and the military has got always an upper hand in Myanmar. Why? Because military was involved in the independence movement of the country. That is something different from what we have in India, because our movement was a civilian movement led by Mahatma Gandhi. The military was simply part of the system that British.
So this ongoing paper is about understanding conflict in the northeastern region of India. And this is based on my PhD research. I have done my PhD research in Sikkim. But then I want to extrapolate some of the findings and move out of Sikkim to other states of northeast region where I can explore conflict in a similar way I have done in Sikkim. But then, as everybody knows, we cannot do that. We can't generalize what happens in one region. But I also want to see the nature of conflict, the characteristics of conflict, how it is formed through exploration of other northeast areas. And this is because if you look at the state of Sikkim, where I did my research, it is a very small state. Manipur is 3 times the state of Sikkim, and let's say Arunachal Pradesh is even 11 times. So I want to understand conflict when we are going across scale and size. Everybody generalizes northeast and says, oh, everything is lumped now, the 7 sisters and now the new included one brother, that is Sikkim. So it's also my general inquiry to see that if everything is homogeneous across the northeastern states, if we are facing the same problem, if we are facing the same kind of situation, so that is basically what I want to find out from this point of India. And then what happened was, initially, before our Indian independence, all electricity generations, they were basically private enterprises. Because most of the states of India were poor, we were under British, and there were few, as India became independent, some of the private entities became state government managed port. So central government primarily did not have much say in electricity generation, transmission and distribution. But then the government of India okay, I don't want to be anti-national, okay, this is just an academic critique and observation. So the government of India in early 1950s, they discovered that the northeastern part has a lot of conflict as a situation in which parties no longer have common rule that allows them to solve their conflict or a problem and hence stand in opposition to each other either as friends or enemies, ready eventually to even kill themselves, because we will again say that, oh, if two people have disagreement, is that conflict? No, that is not conflict, that is disagreement, and we'll negotiate it because we don't identify ourselves as enemy, and we are still
a former director. He has taken up very much empirical findings on that question by taking up 3 steps as a case study, and when outsiders are settling, the insiders oppose. The opposition is majority large, and that is surveyed based on empirical finding. And here also, it's not a matter of monetary benefit or gain. In the name of civilization, culture, history, identity cannot be slaughtered in the name of development. That was the main, thesis of Professor Sanjeev Kumar. And coming to my friend last, Dr. Professor Sura's presentation, as I say, is a very much 3 different layers of different tastes. So this is a relationship between our neighboring country, India, and Myanmar, and we can't escape it because Northeast India having one.
Since the beginning of independence, it has witnessed a pattern of conflict and unrest, and which had its genesis in its distinct history, demography, ethnic diversity, and strategic location, because many of these states are border states. So what we observe that since independence, this region has faced armed insurgency, ethnic clashes, and various other forms of uprising, protest, and unrest. However, of late what we observe that the pattern of conflict has changed to a great extent. Earlier it was largely succession driven, that many of the states in the northeast, they were asking for separations. Alpha, many of you are familiar with, or for that matter in the movement that was spearheaded by Laitonjam. So earlier what we observed that it was primarily succession driven, but now it is by and large based on identity politics, inter-ethnic competition, militarization, and most importantly, what I feel, governance deficits. So, of course, out of 8 states in the northeast, because Sikkim is also included, earlier it was known as 7 Sisters, what we observe that in most of the states, issues.
Mine is very much based on demographic. Devils are unlucky because of this history problem. I cannot show it whether people will post. I will say, please post consume it. Okay, so I try to review the census, the colonial census of 1891, in which the composition of Manipur, majorly is shown here. The Meitei Pangals 2.21, Kukizo 7.78, and the Nagas 27.1%, and the majority Meitei is 1991, the British colonial period is 59.16%, and the total population of 1991 was 2,20,070. And when we try to look a comparison of 1891's population and the British colonial period, and I will say the recent most 2011, there is some controversy, but let's assume that this is original. So there is a comparison of ethnic-wise population of 1991 and 2011. And regarding the Meitei community, as I already mentioned, out of total population, 51.16 belong to Meitei. Now, from 2011 to 21, and if we try to look from urban and the rural comparison, urban is 1.84 total fertility rate, and rural is 2.38. This is, and again, ethnically, if we look this is very much different. As I say, the mighty Hindu 1.77 only. Total fertility.
All follow the newspapers, news and all across the globe, and you will get to know that there is no region in the world which doesn't have conflict. Maybe in some form or the other, but we keep having conflict. So any discussion on conflict related issues are quite important, significant, as well as quite relevant. So hats off to the organizing committees led by Dr. Muhindro and his faculty colleagues for bringing up such an important platform for having this kind of this discussion. And at the same time, is I said that it's quite provocative in the sense that, not in negative sense, in the positive sense that it can incite a lot of deep on the issues. And conflict, since we keep experiencing this event off and on, any kind of questions related with conflict, you will have a lot of counter narratives on that one, counter viewpoints. So starting from simple questions like what is conflict, why conflict, and how to resolve this conflict. There are themes and themes of counter narratives answered to. So there is no end. So inside some kind of deep thinking. So it's quite provocative. No, actually I started my academic career also with this kind of studies, starting from my MPhil, PhD, and many of my earlier writings were done especially in the geographical context of Northeast. But of late I started changing my pitch from these conflict studies to electoral politics, the pitch on which you often bore cookies, very often, right? So, no, it's not that this conflict study is not important. It's quite important, but I also have experience in the sense that, especially done from a conflict environment, studies on presentation on can have a lot of potential to court controversies. And I slowly started realizing that when we come to the conflict analysis method,
it is now become deep popular, and this is countered by the some element of those who want to become Hado, not to be known as cookies. They are claiming that they are not cookies. Hado are not claiming cookies. Now it is becoming very popular and more popular nowadays. And those called Hado leaders are now freely coming to the Ivan and some of them, they are coming from they are coming to see their related at Ivan. Now, coming to the mythology of the origin of the cookies, this origin mythology is very interesting one because most of the cookie and Singh and that is written by the colonial writer. He said that cookie emerged from the bowel of the earth through a head called Sinmun or Kul, which is generally believed that they are in China or in Tibet. This tradition has been passed down through generation and is widely cited by cookie scholars, including P.S. Gandhi in 2012, who pioneered the study of cookie in Manipur. He is the first pioneer in the study of cookie in Manipur, P.S. Gandhi. And according to their settlement in this region and this region, Anil, Manipur and surrounding area, there are some linguistic survey of India reference the Cape origin myth, and this survey cookie scholars have largely embraced. And this theory of Boer origin is defeated by Helen Hardy in this famous book. Across the Sahara, behind object this myth in peace search for lost tribe of Israel. This is the some cookie tribe.
Actually, I had a good question, good intervention.
So thank you to all those who were able to ask the questions, and thank you to all the three presenters who made very nice presentation on different themes, but we had someone in the audience who was able to still make a connection between the three themes. Thank you very much.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯥꯁ ꯐꯦꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯄꯨꯂꯞ ꯁꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯍꯟꯗ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯣꯟꯂꯤ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯏꯟꯁꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯁꯟ ꯈꯛꯇꯅ ꯁꯤꯟꯅ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯗꯤꯠꯅ ꯌꯥꯗꯦ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯚꯦꯠꯅ ꯌꯥꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯁꯤꯃ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗ꯭ꯔꯣꯕꯦꯛ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯁꯦꯀꯦꯟ ꯐꯦꯁꯇ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯁꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯁꯦꯝꯒꯠꯂꯒ ꯂꯥꯏꯕ꯭ꯔꯦꯔꯤꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯁꯦꯃꯤꯅꯥꯔ ꯌꯥꯎꯖꯩꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯁꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯐꯥꯁ ꯐꯦꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯄꯨꯂꯞ ꯁꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯍꯟꯗ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯣꯟꯂꯤ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯏꯟꯁꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯁꯟ ꯈꯛꯇꯅ ꯁꯤꯟꯅ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯗꯤꯠꯅ ꯌꯥꯗꯦ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯚꯦꯠꯅ ꯌꯥꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯁꯤꯃ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗ꯭ꯔꯣꯕꯦꯛ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯁꯦꯀꯦꯟ ꯐꯦꯁꯇ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯁꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯁꯦꯝꯒꯠꯂꯒ ꯂꯥꯏꯕ꯭ꯔꯦꯔꯤꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ
That is the main thing of my paper. Manipur, being one of the smallest state in northeastern India, possesses a civilizational history of more than 2,000 years. It is a land of rich culture, resilience, and sporting excellence. It is blessed
Reduce in the duration, audience size, and monetary offerings significantly affected their economic stability. Thus, the conflict and recurring curfew not only interrupted artistic expression but also restructured the livelihood pattern of performing communities. Highways serve as primary and most
wider scope for representation, and it also prevents the monopoly of one particular student body. However, there are different challenges, like it creates the fragmentation of student movement, there is poor coordination, and there is also reducing the collective impact or influence. However, the main question is it possible to merge this protest and
in the university and college library? And students, research scholars, even the teachers are also very much important to use and to have the awareness of library network and library facilities. No one can purchase the book abundantly. It is impossible. And it is also very difficult to download the precious materials and articles from the precious journal of the world. Even though whenever one can adopt the system of bonus.
First, I'd like to call upon Dr. T.H. Gopal Singh, librarian, Kula Women's College. Dr. Gurmayam Toke Sharma. Dr. Priyadarshini Maisnam, Assistant Professor, Department of History, Kula Women's College, Kanpur. Dr. Konsam Sujata Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Kula Women's College. Thank you. Since yesterday, as we have come to the end of the conference, I would like to request the dignitaries to come up on stage. The chief guest of the function, Professor Sanjeev Kumar, former Director, Center for the Study of Developing Societies, New Delhi. The guest of honor, Professor K. Singh, Dean, School of Social Sciences, Elementary University. and the President of the program, Dr. R.K. Lokendra Singh, Principal, Kula Women's College.
Now, Director, CSDS New Delhi, and guest of honor of this very auspicious benefited concern, Dr. K. Indramani, Dean School of Social Sciences, and the President of this benefited concern, Dr. R.K. Lokendra Singh, and all the faculty members and all the, we have picked up all the sessions as a parallel session on this morning session. So in this conference we will have 56 different papers. Would you like to say something?
Graduate Kanpur University and my first time here in Manipur. And this physical form of attending conferences was important for me to network with people, to make friends, to build some connections which I can take back with me in the form of experience. Because paper presentation in today's day and age, multiple papers, webinars, seminars, online, I think we can present so many papers, but there's nothing like coming to the place, physically interacting with the organizers and participants.
Actually, I think it's reduced manpower, which was based on development and towns and all. So it's a my thesis and your area is a little bit similar, so I find quite interesting with your paper. Yesterday I was trying to ask a question also, but unfortunately it was a little bit hasty, so I cannot. But today I would like to express my questions or whatever suggestions in this feedback. Now, currently, when we consider about politics, India is currently facing a lot of problem in balancing the development and ecological balance, since they are opposed. Like it's all these community-based traditions, which we could see in our northeastern states, are almost linked with culture, heritage, and land. Because it is mostly tribal areas. So I think for ecological balancing,
I'm Elizabeth Maidam, a research scholar in the Department of Political Science, Manipur University. The 3 days hybrid national conference on the theme conflict and unrest in Northeast India, emerging challenges, is highly relevant in present context. I have truly benefited from the insight discussion shared during thank you to the organizing committee for successfully organizing this 3 days hybrid national conference. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Now may I request Professor Sanjeev Kumar to give a brief speech on the conference.
Yes, I can promise that it's going to be very brief. So, now we are at the end of a 2 days seminar on the theme which we have been discussing, conflict and unrest in North India, emerging challenges. So, I think there's no doubt that this was a 2 days very fruitful seminar. The topics covered in this seminar have been very of wide range. So we had people presenting on different states. We all collectively, when I say all, it's not merely the presenters who were sitting on this side. There were few people who were just audiences. I'm not only referring to people who are present physically in this room, but also there were a lot of presenters who presented online. So we all collectively reflected on the theme to the best of our ability. Everybody worked very hard. And I must tell you that whenever I come to an end, so the formal event comes to an end today, but I think the discussion, because this is the theme which is, and you can see the title, emerging challenges. What does emerging challenges mean? The challenges keeps emerging. It's not that you are able to handle one challenge and then you are, okay, fine. A challenge comes to your life and you think, I have handled that challenge and no challenge is going to come. Something comes up in your day-to-day life, so these challenges keep coming. So emerging challenges. So what we need to do is to keep an eye on these emerging challenges. Keep an eye and the ears open to these emerging challenges and keep a focus on that what are the challenges and we can pursue our interest on this topic. Convenor has already mentioned, and that's a very important point to mention to all of us and a reminder to me as well as a presenter, that normally a seminar ends, you go back and then you forget about the seminar. But there is a reminder that
On the dais, respected today's speakers, Professor Sanjeev Kumar, former Director, Center for Study of Developing Society, New Delhi, respected Professor Singh, Dean School of Social Sciences, Mangi University, Imam all the respected faculty members, delegates, and participants, participants from the outside states. Madam, you are from?
So, Darjeeling, West Bengal.
Thank you for coming over here.
My pleasure.
Sharing your experience in Gandhi again. And all the entire team of Organizing Committee, thank you. And I'm very sorry I could not attend all the session.
Thank you, sir. To propose the vote of thanks, I would like to call upon Oinam Sarita Devi.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we reach the conclusion of this conference on conflict and unrest in Northeast India, emerging challenges, I have the distinct privilege of proposing the bowl of things. Our deepest gratitude goes to our respected resource person, paper presenter, fellow research scholar, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, students, and all the volunteers. To all our resource person, session speaker, and panelists, thank you for sharing your experience and ideas. Finally, thank you all for being here and made this conference a successful one. I hope you leave today with new idea and strengthened connection. Wish you a safe journey home. I now declare this conference officially closed. Thank you all.
general.
That is general about. And for Manipur, we have the other media that believe in Bihar. So that is general about that. You don't know what I wrote. And this house is only the Indian and the Japanese alliance with the stay here.